Welcome to Neo Daily English.
Neo Daily English.
All right, let's talk about mastering those tough interview questions. We're not about guesswork here. We're going to build a strategic toolkit with some really clear, proven frameworks so you can walk into any room feeling totally confident.
You know the feeling, right? That dreaded what-if question drops, your mind just goes completely blank, and you can feel the panic creeping in. Yeah, we've all been there. But you know what? It doesn't have to be like that.
So we're going to arm you with 3 really powerful, structured methods. Think of them as your secret weapons. They're not just about giving an answer. They're about showing the interviewer how you think. And that's the real game changer.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll talk about why these questions are so tricky. Then we'll dive into our 3 big methods, the 5 W's, P.R.E.P, and S.T.A.R. And at the end, we'll pull it all together into a super simple playbook you can start using right away. You know, these situational questions, they're not really designed to trick you. What interviewers really want is to see how you think on your feet, how you perform under a little bit of pressure, and how you solve problems. These frameworks we're about to cover, they prove you're ready for pretty much anything they can throw at you. Okay, our first tool is the 5 W's method. This is a classic. It's used by journalists, investigators, you name it. Anyone who needs to get to the heart of an issue and fast. For you, it's the perfect way to break down a really complex hypothetical problem right there on the spot. The framework itself is super simple, but so powerful. You just systematically work through it. Who is affected by this? What are the new priorities? When does this all need to happen? Where are the resources going to come from? And maybe most importantly, why is this change even happening? It basically forces you to think like a manager. And this right here, this is the key. You have to shift your thinking from what I would do to what does the organization need? That one little mental flip shows you're a strategic thinker, and it just instantly makes your answer so much better. So let's see how it works. The interviewer asks, what if your project's priorities suddenly changed? Instead of panicking, you just walk them through it. Okay, first, who needs to know? What is the new goal for the company? When's the new deadline? Where do I need to shift my resources, and why? See? Explaining that why is so crucial for getting the team on board. It's such a structured response, and it shows you can handle chaos calmly and logically. All right, let's move on to our second tool, the P.R.E.P method. This one is absolutely perfect for those weird, wildcard questions, or really any time you need to make a clear, persuasive argument. P.R.E.P is an acronym for point, reason, example, and then point again. So you lead with your main conclusion, you explain your logic, you back it all up with a real story, and then you circle right back to your main point to wrap it up. It's just a really clean, confident way to structure an opinion. And here's the thing to remember. This is often a composure test. When an interviewer throws you a curveball, they're not just listening to your answer. They're watching to see how you organize your thoughts under pressure. The P.R.E.P framework keeps you totally grounded and on message, no matter what they ask. Now, that E, for example, that's where this method really comes to life. I mean, anyone can state a vague reason, but a specific story? That's compelling. It's credible. It's your chance to prove your point with actual evidence of what you can do. And here is where our whole toolkit starts to connect in a really powerful way. For that example part of your P.R.E.P answer, you can actually plug in our next method, the S.T.A.R framework, to tell a perfectly structured and memorable story. Which brings us to our third and final tool, the S.T.A.R method. Honestly, this is the absolute gold standard for answering behavioral questions. You know, the ones that start with, tell me about a time when. S.T.A.R stands for situation, task, action, and result. You just start by setting the scene, then you describe your specific goal, you detail the actions that you personally took, and then you share the outcome. It's a classic storytelling structure, right? A clear beginning, middle, and end. Now, pay close attention to the pacing here. You only want to spend about a quarter of your time setting up the situation and task. The real meat of your story, a full 50% of your time should be on the action. This is where you detail exactly what you did. Then you wrap it all up with the result. The whole story should only be about 2 or 3 minutes long. The key to nailing the S.T.A.R method is all in the prep. Don't try to make up stories on the fly. You want to build a little story file for yourself with about 6 to 8 really solid examples from the last year or so.
A good mix is about half straightforward wins and half situations that maybe started out kind of negative, but that you turned around. And please, whenever you can, put a number on it. Quantify your results. Okay, we've covered our 3 big tools. Now, let's pull it all together into a simple playbook so you know exactly which one to grab from your toolkit during the actual interview. And here it is, your cheat sheet. If you get a what-if question, use the 5 W's to show you think about the big picture. For those opinion or wildcard questions, use P.R.E.P to structure a really persuasive argument. And for any question that starts with "tell me about a time," you use S.T.A.R to tell an amazing story. It's simple, it's clear, and it is so effective. So you have the playbook. Now it's time to actually put it to work. Let me leave you with this question. What's the very first story you're going to prepare for your S.T.A.R file? Seriously, think about it. Nailing that first one, that's the most important step you can take toward mastering your next interview.
Well, that's all for today. Before you go on your way, let me know in the comments, what topics should we cover next? Your suggestions help shape this channel. If you found value in this lesson, hit that like button and subscribe to stay consistent.